All right. So, as we arrive for our practice, always taking into consideration the different ingredients that we're bringing with us. So, with each day or each sleep, we can find a different self when we come to our practice. And so, before we begin each practice, and sometimes after we finish, it can be a nice idea and a great practice to check in with yourself. Now, some of you may have done a yoga nidra practice with me, and it's a similar technique other than in yoga nidra, it's a guided meditation where we're reclined. Today, we'll stay in our upright position. For those who are doing the practice early in the morning, having the spine upright allows for those pre-sunrise energies to come in and align through our spine. So I am reminded of this each time that I want to hit snooze and stay in bed a little longer. The energies that we have when we do a reclined meditation are very different from when we have our spine upright. So as you find the seat that's right for you, I'm in a kneeling pose, but if that doesn't work for your knees, you can always sit cross-legged or even onto a pillow or a cushion. So choosing the seated position that's right for you and that allows you to keep your spine nice and tall. Go ahead. And then either taking your gaze towards the floor in front of you, or if it's comfortable, you might close your eyes completely. And just allowing for this moment to do a scan. So we'll begin with the physical body and scanning through your physical body, just taking note of what you find. Noticing through the space of head, neck, and shoulders, your arms, your chest, your abdomen, your back. Observing, noticing sensations through your hips, your legs, all the way down to your feet and your toes. And with this, you might be aware of areas that feel a little tight or congested. And also take note of the areas that feel open, spacious, or energetic. So having taken stock of that layer of yourself, shift your awareness now to your mental body and observe and notice any thoughts that have come to the mat with you. So maybe you're finishing a conversation in your head. Maybe you still have fragments from your sleep, little memories from your dreams. Perhaps there's part of the mental body that's planning for the rest of the day. And just become aware of these ingredients. And moving on to the layer of yourself, the emotional body, become aware of and notice if there are any emotions present. Just with that greater awareness, recognizing our intention with our practice to become more and more awake and aware and present to our true nature. So these layers of ourself are the parts that we might associate with, where our true self, you might imagine as that light at your center. Good. Having taken stock, let's begin to find a little movement here. So as you inhale, reach your arms all the way up high to the sky. And as you exhale, sweep your arms wide again, all the way back down by your sides. We'll do this 3 more times. Inhale, you might let your chin gently lift as you reach your arms up. And exhale, gently lowering your chin in the direction of your chest as your arms come down. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, releasing. This time, let's inhale, reach all the way up. And as your hands meet at the top, now exhale, bringing your hands in a prayer position down to the space in front of your heart. Anjali Mudra, with the hands balanced in front of your heart space. Take a moment to scan the relationship between your left and your right hand. Noticing the alignment of pinky, ring finger, middle, index, and thumb. Feeling a balance of the energy between the palms. And finding a few more full breaths here with hands balanced in front of the heart. This position of the body invites a balance of energy. Bring your attention to the space of your heart and maybe see if you could imagine, feel, or sense energies awakening in your heart center. When we are first developing, we are all heart cells, and then our hands develop. So you might imagine or visualize that heart with wings or a heart with hands. So as those cells continue to divide, we are a heart with hands. And so essentially, as we move through our day, we can imagine that everything that we touch, everything that we create with our incredible hands has the energy of our hearts. If you have an intention that you are working with, perhaps it aligns with some spring cleaning, perhaps it aligns with the beliefs or inherited thoughts that we might be ready to let go of in order to make room for ourselves to fully bloom. Take a moment just acknowledging your intention. And with this energy of intentions, we then let it go without expectation, and we have absolute faith that it returns to us. So symbolizing this, let's inhale, press these prayer hands up to the sky, reaching up. And as you exhale, sweep your arms wide, extending the energy of your intention all the way out into the space around you. Good. On your next inhale, sweep your arms up high again, clearing the energy and the space around you. And as you exhale, sweeping your arms wide all the way down by your sides. Good. I'm going to shift from that kneeling to a cross-legged because at this point, now this is the seat that's right for me. So always feel free to make any adjustments that you need in your postures. We'll come into a twist. Inhale, reaching your arms up high to the sky. And as you exhale, twist to your right. So here, as you bring your right hand behind you to rest on the floor, let your left hand come to rest somewhere on your right knee. We'll take 5 full rounds of breath here from the roots of your pelvis anchored onto the earth. Let your navel center twist, your rib cage twist, and your head perhaps turn to look over your right shoulder. Now keep your spine nice and tall as you inhale, reach to the sky again. Let's stay at center and exhale, relax the shoulders. You might take another breath or two, reaching a little side to side, stretching through. Good. And then we'll twist to our second side. So inhale, tall spine, and exhale, twisting to your left. Bring your left hand behind. Let your right hand rest onto your left leg. And as you are twisting here, maintain awareness of staying rooted and anchored. So if you feel that your hips or pelvis are starting to twist as well, then allow yourself to come out of the pose slightly so that you can stay grounded. Good. 2 more full breaths here. And then inhale, circling back to center again, reach your arms up high to the sky. Here again, you might just do a little side to side stretch, reaching, opening up a little bit more through the sides, preparing us for our lateral. Let's exhale, arms all the way down. Let's take the right arm up first, reaching up and then hinging over to your side. So we're clearing the cobwebs of the side body, cleansing and opening through the spaces between your ribs. Here again, stay rooted. So if you're overreaching, you may have unplugged that right sitting bone. So plug it back in. That will tend to your nervous system and then allow you to reach into the space that's available at this moment, which is plenty. Good. Inhale back up. Exhale, let that arm float all the way back down. And then second side, inhale, left arm up high to the sky. Exhale, hinging over to the side. Again, stay grounded. Breathe deeply, mindfully, and with full awareness. Notice if you have thoughts that come through, if there are thoughts that you want to water and have grow, then you may focus on them like a mantra. If they are thoughts that are distracting you from your practice, then bring your attention back to your breath and allow for those other things to be tended to later. Good. Let's inhale, come up. Exhale that arm all the way back down, both arms up high to the sky. Inhale. Sweep your arms wide. Exhale, clearing the clutter, clearing the thoughts, clearing any energy that isn't ours. Good. Very nice. From here, we are going to move into cat and cow. If you are comfortable coming onto hands and knees, by all means. If you would like a variation for this spinal movement, you can do it seated, where you hold on to your thighs, rounding back and sitting up tall. So if your knees or wrists are not fond of being in a tabletop, you can choose that seated variation. If you are coming on to hands and knees, aligning your hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips, and then moving the spine, you'll tilt your sitting bones up, belly towards the earth, heart moves forward. This is your inhale. And then as you exhale, pressing your spine, press your back towards the sky, release your head down, and that tilt of your pelvis will be reversed. Continue moving in this way with the breath. Tilting the sitting bones up, belly towards the earth, chin lifts, inhale. And then scooping the sitting bones under, press the spine towards the sky, release your head, exhale. Coordinating these movements with your breath. Continue for about 3 more rounds. From here, we're moving into a child's pose. You might take your knees a little wider, big toes can be in towards each other. And as you shift your hips back towards your heels, walk your arms forward and rest your head onto the earth. If this is not working for your knees, you can stay a little higher up from that bend of your knees and lower to your forearms, stretching through the back body in a way that's right for your body today. Make your way back to a tabletop position. We'll take the right leg back behind us, stretching back through the right leg, and then looking forward, we're going to aim to bring this right foot all the way up between our hands. Now you may need to help that out a little bit there. For this one, you could put a little extra padding under your left knee. We're going to bring our hands up onto that front knee. Now take a moment to find your balance. I have carpet, cushion, rug, so it makes it a little topsy-turvy, but it does feel much better for me on that left knee. So we'll come a little out of our lunge. And then keeping your torso upright, begin to move your hips forward any amount, starting to feel an opening on the front of the left hip. The hip flexors, keep your heart lifting, shoulders relaxed. Maybe reach your left arm up high to the sky, either staying here or leaning over to the right with the upper body, reaching that top arm over to the right, adding to the stretch, the opening on the front of that left leg. Inhale, coming to upright. Exhale, your left arm down. Now take a moment here. You'll stay balanced. Place your left hand on your right knee and reach your right arm back behind you. As you're in a twist, let your knee and your hand press into each other, finding that balanced energy. Good. Breathing here. Those deep breaths will add to the twist, massaging the area of the abdomen. Shoulders are relaxed. Good. And let's take another full breath here. Maybe your gaze is following that right hand. Very nice. Let's slowly return to center, facing forward again. Let's inhale here. And then exhale, bringing your hands down. Begin to straighten your right leg. So for my tall friends, you might put your hands up onto yoga blocks. You can also experiment with shifting your right heel forward. See if that gives you some more space. Saying hello to the back of the right thigh. Your hands might be up onto blocks again here. Good. Lengthening through your spine. A couple of full breaths with this flat back. And then maybe if it's available, if it's not going too far, too fast, you might begin to fold over that right leg. If you took the fold, coming back up, we'll plant our hands and bring the right knee back around. Walk your hands back. We'll come into a tall kneeling position for a moment here. Circle out through your wrist. And then bringing your hands into your back pockets, fingers pointing down. If you don't have back pockets, most of us may not. As if you had back pockets, and then draw your elbows back, opening and expanding through the front body. Keep your chin parallel to the earth, but notice if you need to move your head mindfully at all to release any tension through your neck and jaw. Let's take 3 more full breaths here, opening through the front body. And slowly release. Once again, circle out through your wrist. We'll bring our hands back down to table. Stretch the left leg back behind you. Lifting that leg, get a little balancing table here. So you're activating the core. And then bring your left knee, left foot forward. Good. Here again, maybe a little padding. I giggle because that one is sometimes a little awkward. So is being human sometimes, right? So coming a little bit out of your lunge, hands onto that front knee. Now here, without moving forward at all, there might be sensations on the front of the right hip and thigh. Maybe you do start to move slightly forward, adding to the stretch along that front side. If you find that your upper body is moving forward, try to really lift up back off of that thigh as you shift the hips forward. Take a few more full breaths here. And as we work in the area of our hips, sometimes our jaw starts to activate. So continue throughout your practice to do a full body scan, relaxing your jaw, your tongue, your shoulders, your forehead. Maybe we lift the right arm up high to the sky. From the anchor, the roots of the right knee, there is already a stretch all the way up to the fingers. Maybe we stay here or reaching the right arm overhead over towards the left. Coming back to upright, releasing the right arm down. Now the right hand will come to that left knee and the left arm begins to reach back behind us into a twist. Here, bring awareness to the left knee and right hand, pressing evenly into each other to support you in your twist. Long, slow, deep breaths in your twist helps to really massage through from the inside out, giving us even more space and clearing. And make your way back to center, facing forward. Inhale. And we'll come into that half splits, bringing your hands down to the mat. Straighten your left leg. Again, maybe your hands come up onto yoga blocks, or you can experiment with shifting the left heel a little forward in order to straighten through that left leg, square off through your hips, reaching your heart forward, saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening to the back of that left leg. Again, a few full breaths, aiming to have a flat back here before folding over that leg any amount or not. Taking a few more rounds of breath. Slowly coming back. Take your time as you transition back to table. And then here we'll move through a few rounds of cat and cow, lifting your sitting bones, brighten your heart forward, inhale, and then arching your back, exhale. Moving with your breath 2 or 3 more times. We are on our way to standing. If you would like to move through downward dog, you could step your hands, one hand print forward, tuck your toes, lift your knees, and take a moment in your downward facing dog to pedal out through your heels. If you would like to come to standing through a standing forward fold, you can walk your hands and feet towards each other, releasing your spine over your legs in a forward fold. And then slowly coming to upright. As you make your way all the way up to standing, let's shift this slightly. We will take a moment in mountain pose. In mountain pose, we're aligning our feet in a way that fully supports our skeleton. So for you today, it may be that it feels fine to have the feet all the way together and it's interesting for you. Maybe that feels a little out of balance and you'd like to have your feet a little wider apart. So finding the position that's right for you today. Good. And with that alignment, our feet are aligned here, balanced. You might take a look and see. You could lift all 10 toes, waking up through the arches of your feet, and then lowering the toes. Maybe explore lowering them one at a time down to the earth. Good. Find a full inhale to lengthen through your spine, a full exhale to relax your shoulders. And then begin to activate the muscles of your legs. So squeezing the muscles of your legs in towards the bones. So lift your kneecaps, activate the upper thighs, squeeze, 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 and relax. Now we want to have some of that muscle engagement, but it doesn't have to be over the top. So finding that right amount of strength for you today. Letting the legs be awake and activated. And then imagine there's a little tiny weight on your tailbone that allows your tailbone to drop tiny bit, ever so slightly. Now, if it drops too much, you might feel the front of your thighs pop forward. So finding just the right amount of tailbone, tiny bit of anchoring down. Good. With that action, you may have noticed a little upward movement of energy through the lower abdomen. This starts to activate that lift that helps us from our strong supported legs keep our heart lifted and open. Now, with the muscle activation, you may be warming up a little bit already, and it seems like we're just standing here. That's the point with mountain pose. We can really activate through and feel our alignment. So in my body today, it seems like there's more weight in my left foot. So I'm mentally balancing out to the right foot. And then from that awareness, I noticed there was an odd activation through the part of the right buttock. So now I'm mentally scanning through, releasing that. Good. Now through yourself, let's take a few full breaths to do a body scan. Notice the alignment of your head, neck, and shoulders. Maybe turning the palms of your hands forward so that your heart can stay lifted. Collarbones are wide. Feet are balanced. In your body scan, be very compassionate with yourself if you find things feel a little out of balance, over or under activated. We do this pose as a tool for diagnostics. We're curious. Hey, body, how you doing today? What's up? What are you doing? Good, very nice. All right, and release. We'll just shake that off. In fact, it'll move us directly into our Qigong shaking. For this, you can step your feet a little wider apart. That's more of a Qigong stance with your knees slightly bent. And then we'll begin to bounce our knees and shake our hands. What we're doing with this is helping our spring cleaning. It's helping to get any stagnant energy moving. So we're just bouncing and letting the hands shake. Starting to wake up the energy through the whole body. Good. Now, if it feels all right, maybe you start to lift your arms, keep the knees bouncing and the hands shaking. And then let your arms come all the way back down. Good. You might turn your upper body a little bit to one side as you're bouncing, getting a little twist to help to clear all the pockets of the body. And then back to center. And then very mindfully turn the upper body a little to the other side. And keep those knees and hands bouncing. We'll come back to center. Let's take the arms up again. Good. So it's like that project when you're like, I think it's going to be a good idea to clean the closet or clean the kitchen, whatever, fill in the blank, whatever your thing is. And then all of a sudden, partway through, it looks like a massive mess. Like, wow, I had to take everything out to put it all back in. That's what we're doing here. Good. Now, let's get into maybe shift your weight to one side and shake out one leg. Beautiful. And then back to center, shift your weight over and shake out the other leg. Good. All right. Little free form here. Let's shake the booty, shake the booty, shake the booty, shake, shake, shake. Get everything moving. Good. Very nice. We're going to lean forward, little cactus or scarecrow arms. Go back to the knee bounce. Leaning forward, shaking the arms, shaking the chest. Good. Coming back to our original point of knees and hands. Yeah, it's a lot like a detox process. As things get stirred up, it's like, I don't like that. Ew, yeah, it feels uncomfortable. So keep low those nice full breaths. Keep clearing it out. Let's take the arms up again. Inhale. Exhale. Bringing the arms back down. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Now we're going to start to slow our bounce down, slowing it down until eventually we come to stillness. Take a moment. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Observe, notice temperature difference, energy difference. Maybe you feel things in your body through visualizing colors. Inhale and exhale. Perhaps there's a little effervescent tingling going through. Maybe even a little ringing in your ears as this energy has awakened, saying, it's spring, it's spring. Good. Very nice. All right. From here, step your feet a little bit wider apart. And we'll do a bend of one knee and a bend of the other knee. Keep going a little bit side to side here, opening up through the hips. Coming back to center. Let's turn our feet so our toes begin to point to the left. So your back foot will be slightly angled out. Your front foot is pointing to the left. And as you bend your left knee, maybe if it goes beyond your ankle, you could step your feet a little farther apart, but you want to make sure that back heel stays anchored. Now here, similar to in our lunge, if you feel your front body shifting forward, see about lifting your belly up off of that front thigh, really lifting up the whole front of the body and anchoring back down through your back heel. We'll stay here for a few more full breaths. Either keep your hands on your hips, or if you would like, maybe you reach your arms up high to the sky. Press back through your back heel, lifting through your heart, relax your shoulders, steady with your breath. This one boosts our confidence. It gives us that strength and power to know that when we are mindfully centered, rooted, and balanced, and we can manage our nervous system. Good, harnessing our power. Let's lower the arms back down, straighten through the left leg, and you'll begin to turn your feet to the second side. So as you turn your feet now, pointing over to the right, that right foot will point forward. Your back toes will be out a little bit of an angle, perhaps 45-degree angle. You want to keep that back heel anchored. That will give you your ability to balance here. And as you bend into the front knee, again, if it goes way beyond the ankle, we may lose some stability. So you could scoot that foot farther, as long as your other heel, your left heel, stays anchored down. So here, as you're pressing back, tune into any stretch through the left calf, the strength through your hips and thighs. Here in your lunge, you could stay with your hands on your hips, or maybe reaching the arms up to the sky. We root to rise, anchoring through our mindful foundation and tending to ourselves. We're making sure that the lunge is right for us, that our roots are anchored and providing the support that is required for us to reach. So allowing for both. Reaching, breathing, balanced. Good. When you feel ready, lower your arms back down, straighten through that leg, turning your feet forward again. And here we will hop or step to center. Inhale, exhale. Check in with how your feet landed and maybe experiment if that's how you want to practice the next 10 seconds in mountain. Body scan. Pressing through the heels, lifting through the heart, balanced through your toes. Eyes can be open or closed, whatever helps you to scan your body. Good. All right, very nice. By doing that pose maybe throughout the day, it allows you to do a quick check-in with yourself. You might even stop in mountain pose every time you finish using the bathroom during the day. You stand in mountain pose and you check in. All right, self, how are we doing? Are we really hungry, or could we just have a glass of water? Oh, it feels like there's a little tightness here. Maybe I'll take a moment to do some stretches. So checking in with yourself throughout the day and doing it in conjunction with another activity helps us to do a little bit of habit stacking. I mean, going to the bathroom is not quite a habit, but it is something that we do throughout the day. Good. As we make our way down to the mat, you can always do a sun salutation if you would like. Inhale, reaching your arms up high to the sky. Exhale, taking a swan dive into a forward fold. Inhale, reaching your heart forward, and then stepping back to a push-up position. Lowering knees, chest, and chin, or chaturanga. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, pressing into your hands, coming into a back bend. Exhale, shifting back to child's pose. In your child's pose, find about 5 more rounds of breath and bring to your awareness the intention that you set, allowing this inward pause to give a little added watering to that garden. And then as you are ready, we'll make our way out of child's pose and come up and around onto our seat. Extending your legs out in front. This is Dandasana staff pose. Now, depending on the length of your arm bones, maybe your hands press into the earth. If the arm bones are shorter, maybe you come up onto fingertips. If your arms are longer, you might use that method as well. Aiming to have our spine nice and upright here. And then similar to the activation that we did in mountain pose through our legs, activating through your legs. So flex your feet, spread your toes, lift the kneecaps, your quadriceps, the upper thighs are nice and strong and engaged. We'll sit here for 3, 2, 1, and relax. So that muscle activation gives us that sense of confidence. Let's bend the right knee in, give it a squeeze in towards your chest, lift up out of your low back and relax your shoulders. We'll twist to the right, hugging your leg, place your right hand behind you. Now, as you're twisting your belly to the right, maybe you take the right hand, it's a little tight between the thigh, but you might be able to grab part of your belly and just spiral yourself around a little bit here. So just a little sweep of the body just to assist with the twist. Good. Long, slow, deep breaths here. Continuing to be the manager of your body and your energy, your thoughts. Checking in with how everyone's doing, giving them the guidance that they might need. Let's come back around to center. Inhale, coming all the way back. Exhale, extend that leg out long. Let's return to Dandasana. Activate through the legs, wake up through the toes and feet. Squeeze the muscles of the legs. You're also really working the erector muscles of your core, your spine, and your abdomen. Good. And relax. We'll bend the left knee in. Lifting up out of your low back, we'll sit here at center for a few full rounds of breath. Encouraging that upward movement of energy as well as that downward flow of movement of energy. Inhaling, we might find ourselves getting tall. Exhaling, our shoulders relax. We feel anchored. Good. As we twist to the left, we'll bring that left hand behind. We'll hug the knee with our right hand. Maybe we play with, if it's interesting, taking the left hand from the right side of the belly, sliding it to the left, just adding a little bit more to that twist, and then breathing here. Take your time coming all the way back to center. Inhale, extending out through both legs. We'll find Dandasana again. This is your seated mountain pose. activated through your erector muscles, strong and awake through your foundation, through your roots, your legs. Good. And release. We're coming down onto our backs. Scoot a little farther forward on your mat. You might do a little yoga lattes, lowering down slowly to activate through the core. And then when you land, find a full body stretch. Reaching your legs out long, arms overhead, circling wrists and ankles. And then interlace your hands under your head. Let your elbows drop wide. And as you bend your knees, step your feet wide apart on your mat. We will windshield wiper the knees from side to side. If the arm positioning isn't working for your shoulders, you can release your arms into a T or a cactus or a goalpost. So we woke up a lot of blood flow around the front of the hips and thighs. So just allowing this movement here to be a little irrigation of the system, rinsing out any tightness that we released. And just enjoying that flow, keeping lubrication in our joints. Good. And back at center, release the hands from under the head. Extend your right leg to the sky, circle your ankle. And then bend your right knee into your chest. Give it a nice tight squeeze. And release your foot down. Left leg to the sky. And circling out through your left ankle. Circling both directions. And then hug that knee into your chest for a squeeze. Hug it in. Good. And release. If you would like, finding happy baby pose, a variation of happy baby, as you bring your knees in, you could take them wider apart and hugging in here, either in stillness or a little rocking. If you're taking full happy baby, reach for the edges of your feet, bending your knees out wide around your rib cage. You could rock a little here, side to side. Long, slow, deep breaths here, flattening the spine along the mat, squeezing into the lower abdomen, the large intestine. And then when you're ready, bring your knees to your chest. A little rocking here can massage the back. And then if it's okay for your neck, lift your head and shoulders, exhale, round in, curling your nose towards your knees, and then rest your head and shoulders back down. Release your feet to the mat. We'll place one hand on our heart and one hand on our belly. Noticing the movement of your breath, letting your body be completely neutral here. So it may take a moment to settle in. Notice your heartbeat, notice your breath. In our practice today, with all of the twisting, we activated the energy within us that is called Samana Vayu. This is that power of digestion and metabolism. So metabolizing the events of our lives. So maybe in your spring cleaning, you want to have this activated energy to assist you as you go through and perhaps let go of things that you no longer need or that you haven't been using. Maybe those are thoughts, emotions, or beliefs. Just allowing the awareness that you have activated this energy within you. Now, yes, this might also mean that you will be really hungry and ready for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So honoring those spring food choices. We will conclude our practice here. If you have time to stay and extend your body out into Shavasana, please, please do. Thank you so much for your practice. Peace be with you, and namaste. Definitely do Shavasana.